Good evening and welcome to Sports Top Stories. We're going to go on ahead and tonight a lot of news from the NBA, the NFL, some coaching changes, and from the NFL we'll talk a little bit about Michael Sam and the St. Louis Rams. But first, last night on CNN, Donald Sterling had an interview with Anderson Cooper, and it just went downhill. It crashed and burned. It was supposed to be an apology interview, and he dug himself in an even bigger hole. He just kept digging, this time discriminating against Jews and those with HIV. I just think that when you have yourself in a hole, you just need to stop digging. Even after the Heat and Nets game, Adam Silver came on and had to apologize on behalf of the NBA to Magic Johnson. Right now, Donald Sterling and Magic Johnson aren't necessarily getting along, and Magic is just kind of rolling with the punches. Not a whole lot that he can do, but it's very sad that this had to happen, and Donald Sterling should never be allowed in front of a camera again, and we just really need to put him out of the news. So, after this episode, no more about Donald Sterling on this podcast. So, some good news there. Other news, a lot of coaching talk today in the NBA. Mike Brown got fired from Cleveland. This could possibly be a move. The Cavs got rid of Mike Brown for LeBron James, then LeBron left. Could this be a move if they're going to try to make a move to get LeBron? That is possible, but I really don't see that happening. Kyrie Irving was not behind the decision, so that was a lot. A lot of people were speculating on whether this had to do with Kyrie and whether he was happy with Mike Brown, but nothing to do with him. In other news, Stan Van Gundy is looking at a coaching job with the Pistons. Pistons last year, they weren't that good. Going into the season, it looked like they were going to be great. It looked like they were bringing in stars, and it really looked like that they could be the team, but none of which happened. They didn't even make the playoffs. I don't know if Stan Van Gundy is necessarily the answer, but it certainly is a possibility. I don't see him doing very well with this Pistons team, but we'll see what they decide. Other news, Stephen Kerr, the top prospect for the Knicks coaching position, came out and basically said that if he does decide to take a position in the NBA, it's going to be with Mark Jackson and the New York Knicks. So with that, now it's either he's going to do it or he's not going to do it. I believe that he will. I think that the chemistry is there, and the Knicks potentially, knock on wood, have a chance of making the playoffs and doing well next year. We'll see who they can bring in, who they draft, and we'll see how things go. Tim Hardaway Jr., better watch out for him. He played exceptionally well towards the end of the season. I believe that he could be a factor in next year making a playoff run. Definitely good. J.R. Smith, don't really need him. I think Junior could step up into that role. So definitely some molding that's going to have to go and to get this team to the playoffs. It's definitely not going to be within a coach. And they're definitely not going to win a championship by just hiring a coach. I'll tell you that much. From the NFL, kind of shocking news out of Houston. Andre Johnson said that he He doesn't feel like Houston is a place for him to be. After the awful season of last year, it's kind of fallen apart. They got Jadeveon Clowney. That's a plus. Now they're going to lose Andre Johnson. They can't really win here. And you look at Matt Schaub. He's not the quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback. He's gone. Who are you going to have piloting this ship? This Houston's Texans. This is bad news. I don't like this team to do very well next year. It just doesn't. Things aren't shaping up very well for them. Other news from the NFL: Michael Sam, the first openly gay player in the NFL, came out and said that it's time for him to focus on football, and you can definitely hear a lot more on this Saturday morning. NFL Now podcast Saturday morning. We're going to talk a lot about this. We're going to hit this hard. But my take on this right now is I don't see him making the cut. And if he does make the cut, it's going to be for one reason: money. If you're the St. Louis Rams, you can figure whether he even steps on the field during a game or not, it doesn't matter. If he's on punt return, who cares? You mass produce his number 92 jersey, and you're going to sell out every single game for people to see Michael Sam block on a kick return. You're going to sell millions. You saw that with the Brooklyn Nets. As soon as they signed Collins, number one selling jersey above LeBron James. And the number one most talked about. The Rams are definitely going to get a lot of attention. And last year they had a good season. They had a pretty good season. They came back. They found some strength in their secondary. They had pretty good, an okay defense. They were able to build up their offense. They were playing better. They had some wide receivers come out and play well. So I think this Rams team has a chance of doing well. Now, Michael Sam, they bring him on. They sign him $450,000. I don't know, $500,000, and then they're going to turn around and make $3 or $4 million in the first game. Maybe even the next day on Michael Sam. He was worth the draft, as well as the Browns' Johnny Manziel. Very strategic, and I think it's financially, it's a good decision. So we'll hit that a little bit more on NFL Now Saturday morning. Please tune in, listen to that. Those are the sports top stories right now. I thank you for listening. Have a wonderful evening.